Hey guys, this is Mrs. Callaghan, the STEM coach here at CCG. This is a quick video to get you guys excited about Tinkercad and a very cool project you're going to be doing in ELA. And so side note, ignore the Band-Aid on my face. I had to go to the dermatologist yesterday, so I know all of y'all are probably staring at the Band-Aid. So here's what we're going to do to get logged in. You may already have a Tinkercad account, and so if you do, that is okay. You are going to click Sign In from the Tinkercad website, and that is tinkercad.com. And you are going to click Sign In with Google. And when you do that, it is going to prompt you. You will use your school Google account information to sign in. And you might have some extra steps other than what's on my screen, but you should not have any problems getting in. And so I already have an account, and so it's going to pop up, obviously, something that I have already started tinkering with. But when you get logged in, it's going to pop up a box with a tutorial. I want you to X out of that box. I don't want you to click Get Started when you see it. So again, X out of that tutorial, and it's going to leave you here. If you already have a Tinkercad account, you're going to see all of your designs listed on there, but this is your dashboard. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create new design. Go ahead and close out of my extra tab there. And this is going to open it up to what we like to call your plane. And so let me tell you a little bit about what Tinkercad is. Tinkercad is a 3D printing software. And so what you design in Tinkercad, you can 3D print. And so this plane is what's going to talk to our 3D printer. And so there's a couple of things we need to make sure that we have set correctly so that the conversation between our design and the 3D printer can happen. Down in the bottom right corner, you'll see something that's called Edit Grid. And when you click on that, it's going to bring it up and the units are in millimeters. The first thing we want to do is change that to inches. So again, bottom right corner was a button, Edit Grid, and that's all we're going to do. And we're just going to click Update Grid so that what we are viewing is in inches, because when it talks to our 3D printers, it is going to communicate in inches. So we want to make sure that we have all of that good stuff in. So now let's get to the fun part. Let's get to creating a design. So for the purpose of this video, I want you to follow my steps. It's a video. Pause me if you need to, rewind me, fast forward me. You may already know all of this. You're going to drag a red box onto your plane. Okay, so what we have done, we've already taken a pre-made box and we've dragged it onto our plane. And so there's all kinds of things we can do with this box. So I want to walk through some of the shapes that you see. So these white boxes, when you click them and drag them, you can make it bigger, smaller. I think I'm going to make, for the purposes of this, let's do a swimming pool. And then the triangle at the top is what will move it. Actually, this is not making it taller. It's moving it up and down on the plane. And this is important when we 3D print because we want that number on the side there to be 0. And here's what that means. In the top left, you'll see where we can rotate our plane. We don't want our object hanging underneath the plane. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you. You see now how this number is at -3/8 of an inch. That means it is sitting under the plane -3/8. Our 3D printers are not going to print under a plane. Think of that plane as the plate that it's 3D printed on. So we want to make sure that the object is sitting at 0. Okay, so again, that'll come into play a little bit more too. So again, this cube, it kind of depends on what view you like to see. I kind of like to be able to see. That's the front view. I like to be able to see everything. Okay. Now you can change the color of your shape. But let me say this, do not spend time messing with color for your project because you're going to print your shape, the shapes that we print. Our printers only have one filament color that we run at a time. We can do multi-layers with different colors, but it takes some time and nobody's got a lot of time these days. So you can put yellow right there, but if there's blue filament in our printer, guess what? It's going to be blue. So don't spend a lot of time playing. For the purposes of today, I'm going to pick something that's blue because we're going to create a swimming pool for this tutorial. So again, pause me if you need to. You can go back and forth between the video if you need to. So next what we're going to do is create some empty space, right? So let's say if I'm making a swimming pool, this is going to be the outside of my swimming pool. And now I need to cut a hole for the water to go in. So when you look back over here at basic shapes, there's a box right here. And so when they're gray like this, that is our hole. So what I just did was stuck a hole in there. And now I have a new set of white dots, right? So my swimming pool, I want my hole to kind of be along the outside here. Okay, and I'm going to make it a little wider and see if that works. Now, that is not a hole yet. All we did was place an empty shape into that shape in order to make it a hole. So if we printed this right now, it would still print a rectangle, a solid rectangle, which actually takes a lot of filament because that means everything inside of it is solid. We have to group our objects. And so to do that, I'm going to change my view just a little bit. Up here at the top, whoops, let me click out here. Oh, is it going to let me? Why isn't it letting me? Oh, I know what it is. I'm going to highlight my whole shape now. Everything. Just like that. And now you'll see up here is this weird looking little, looks like a chunky arrow, but it's really a square and a circle together. We need to group these objects. And so I'm just going to click that button. And now you can see your hole that you've done. Now let's just say, oh, I want to mess with my hole again. All you have to do is highlight it and you can ungroup right here. So let's just say you wanted to go back and make your hole and your shape a little different. You can do that too. So there's always group and ungroup. Again, you've got to highlight that whole shape to tell it what to do. So play around with that. Usually people need to use holes in shapes versus creating a shape from scratch. This is usually the easiest way to do that. So we have now learned how to drag. We have drug a shape onto our plane. We have created a hole. We have gone over how to rotate our plane. And so now what we're going to do is talk a little bit about how we can insert a shape in a shape. So let's just say within my swimming pool, I want to put a round float hanging out in there or something. So I'm going to drag a cylinder over here, right? So now I have a shape and a shape. And again, I can make this go wherever I want to. Let's just say maybe this wasn't a swimming pool. Let's say maybe this was a house. I could lift this up, and again, you have to toggle your view, right? There, toggle your view. I could spread it out. I wouldn't use a cylinder for a roof, obviously, but you could make a roof for a house and then group it, and that's what it would print. And we won't get into supports and how not to allow your print to cave in today. We'll work with the folks that we're printing with on that. But anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of how you can do that. So let's just say your design for your symbol and your ELA project, maybe you want to scribble something. This is another really cool feature. So you can click on scribble. Why is it doing that? And I'm going to zoom in a little bit on my plane. So that's what these two buttons are for. I don't really want to mess with that. I'm just going to hit delete, make him disappear. And now I want to scribble. So what I did is I drug it over and clicked, and let's just say I want to make a heart. Maybe that's part of my character trait. I am not a good artist. My son would totally be laughing right now. You see on the right in real time what it's doing there? I have just created my own shape. And then all I have to do is click done, and there is my shape. Kind of tall, right? So remember what we said about this moves it up and down on the plane. We want that to be 0, but our white dots are what might shrink it down, okay? So again, something you can play around with if you wanted. I would keep it basic, and that's the other thing I was gonna mention on this project. Less is more in 3D printing sometimes, especially when you're just started out. If you've never 3D printed before, less is more, so always remember that. Now, the other thing we always like to make sure we go over is text. Right? So let's just say a lot of times my kindergartner 3D printed a name tag for his book bag because he was all worried about, someone may take his book bag. So when we click text, there's our text, and obviously it's really big, right? So here we can just come and put, you can do a name, okay? So there's my name. You could do love. Again, you can change the color. It's not going to matter because of the filament color. And then once you click out of that, again, it has to be on our plane. Let's drag it over a little bit. You can make those taller, those letters smaller, scrunchy, like that. Again, we don't want to use that cone too much because we want it to be 0 on the plane. So this cone is only for making it go up and down. So like if you were putting a roof on top of something and you wanted to move it up, you could do that. But typically we like it to be on our plane. So if you were wanting to make it longer or taller, you use those arrows and you can stretch it out. You can do all kinds of things. So we have gone through shapes, cutting holes in shapes, the scribble feature, and also text. So this is your opportunity when you get your project to make it your own, to show your personality and what you want to create. It's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. You can do all kinds of things. There are lots of YouTube tutorials. If you just type in Tinkercad tutorials, that it will show you how to do a lot of things. Again, we want to keep it simple. The next biggest thing is how you're going to submit this to your teacher. So now that I've made my design on my plane and I have exactly what I want for my project, we need to get that link into your Canvas assignment, or if it's a Google form, whatever your teacher may be using. So we are going to go up here. It automatically saves. So let me mention that. Up here at the top, see where it says Spectacular Borrow or whatever. Let's go ahead and change that name to something that makes sense. Tinkercad is always going to give you random names, but it will automatically save it. So it's a good thing. So let's just call this ELA Project Demo. I would say probably use your first or at least your last name, maybe first and last name, ELA Project. That way it's easy to find and it kind of stands out. So now that we've done that, we are ready to go ahead and figure out how to do our link. So what we are going to do is click Export. Nope, not what I wanted to do. Hang on. Invite people. We're not collaborating on this one. Send to. Yep, send to. So up in the top right, we're going to click Send to, and then we're going to scroll down to where it says Share over IM or email. And let's see, I think we click Invite. So we're clicking Invite. I know that sounds strange. Generate new link. And then this box pops up. We are going to click Copy Link. That link is now copied on your clipboard. And so you would open up your Canvas assignment for where it's asking your link. You would go over, let's see if I've got something I can just do. I've got an email up. If you were in your Canvas assignment and hold and Command V, copy and paste, there is your link. What you do not want to do is you do not want to go up here to this browser bar and copy that link. That's not going to get us what we need. So again, I'm going to walk through that one more time. Send to, scroll all the way down, invite people, copy link. Okay. You can collaborate with other people on projects. We're not doing that for this particular project. You can also download your design to your Chromebook. Let's just say you wanted to keep it on your Chromebook. You can do that as well, but for the purposes of submitting your assignment, you just want to generate that link. Again, my name is Mrs. Callaghan. If you need any help with Tinkercad, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm sure your teachers will share my email address, but it is just jennifer.callaghan@cabarrus.k12.nc.us, and I will be glad to help you with your design, or if you have any questions. I cannot wait to see what you guys produce for this project. I'm looking forward to looking at all the designs.